My cousin's wife stole my grandma's irreplaceable ring off her dead body, and I have it on video. Throwaway, because my family knows my main and some of them read it. So I, female, 32, just lost my grandma Lois last week. She was 87 and got pneumonia, which turned really bad really fast. Like we thought she'd pull through and then suddenly she was gone. I'm still processing it, honestly. I keep picking up my phone to call her, then remembering I can't. Some background. My grandma basically raised me after my parents got divorced when I was 9. It was a mess. Like the kind of divorce where both parents are trying to use you as a weapon against the other. I still have issues from this, to be honest. But every summer, I'd go stay with Grandma Lois in her old Victorian house in the little town where my mom grew up. And those were like the only normal, stable parts of my childhood. She taught me many things, like how to bake her famous apple pie that's been in our family for 4 generations. I'm not even much of a baker normally. I literally burn microwave popcorn, lol. But I always make that pie for family gatherings because it's like our thing. Was our thing. God, this is still so raw. Anyway, one of Grandma's most precious possessions was this gorgeous vintage sapphire ring from the 1920s. My great-grandmother fled Europe with it during World War II. It was like the one valuable thing our family managed to hold on to. When I was 14, I was helping Grandma clean her jewelry box, and I was admiring it, and she told me right then that someday it would be mine. She even said it in front of my mom and Aunt Gloria, so multiple people heard her promise it to me over the years. So the funeral stuff got complicated. My Uncle Wayne was being a complete pain about everything and insisted on this ridiculously expensive casket, even though Grandma specifically said in her will that she wanted something simple. My mom was trying to honor what Grandma actually wanted, but Wayne kept saying stuff like, "What will people think if we cheap out?" Like, who cares what people think when someone literally put their wishes in writing? But whatever. During the viewing, they left the sapphire ring on Grandma's hand for one last time to wear her favorite piece before it would be given to me after the burial. This was literally stated in the will that was read 2 days before the funeral. Everyone knew it was coming to me. Here's where my cousin Mitchell's wife, Bonnie, female, 36, comes in. She's always made these weird comments about the ring whenever she saw Grandma wearing it at family gatherings. Stuff like, "That's worth a fortune, you know, and it's wasted potential sitting on an old woman's hand." I never said anything because I hate confrontation, and Mitchell is one of the few cousins I'm still close with. During the viewing, I noticed Bonnie spending a weirdly long time alone with the body. She told everyone she wanted to say private goodbyes, which seems strange since she's only known Grandma for the 4 years she's been married to Mitchell. Grandma never particularly liked her either. When we came back the next morning before the burial, I immediately noticed the ring was gone from Grandma's hand. My stomach just dropped. I knew. I pulled the funeral director aside and quietly asked about the missing ring. He looked confused and said they hadn't removed anything. I explained how important the ring was and that it was supposed to come to me. He got concerned and checked with his staff, but they all confirmed nobody from the funeral home had touched any jewelry. Then he mentioned they have security cameras in the viewing room for insurance purposes. I asked to see the footage right away. He hesitated and mentioned some privacy concerns, but I reminded him that Grandma's will stated the ring was mine. He finally agreed to review the footage with me in his office. You guys, we reviewed the footage, and clear as day, there's Bonnie removing the ring from my grandma's hand when she was alone with the body during her private goodbye. She glanced around before slipping it into her purse. I felt like I was going to throw up. I asked for a copy of the footage, and after hesitating for a minute, he gave it to me on a USB drive. I was so conflicted about what to do. Part of me wanted to confront her immediately, but another part didn't want to cause a scene at my grandmother's funeral. I decided to wait until after the burial, which I now realize was a mistake because it just gave her more time. When I was reviewing the footage again later, I noticed something else really disturbing. While Bonnie was alone with the body, she appeared to be taking photos or videos with her phone. And it wasn't like respectful memorial photos or whatever. She was specifically focusing on Grandma's remaining jewelry and personal items, like she was cataloging them or something. I felt sick. I still can't believe someone would do this. This was my grandmother, the woman who basically raised me. After the burial reception, I finally got Bonnie alone and confronted her, showing her the footage on my phone. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up overnight. To everyone asking if I called the police, not yet. I wanted to confront her first and see if she'd just give it back. And yes, I have the USB with the footage in a safe place and backed up to my cloud storage. Edit 2. Some people are asking why the funeral home let Bonnie be alone with the body. It's because she's family by marriage and specifically requested a private moment to say goodbye. The funeral director said this is pretty common. They don't typically hover over family members during viewing hours. Edit 3. A lot of you are asking about Mitchell's reaction. I'll update after everything plays out more, but let's just say this isn't the first time Bonnie has done something sketchy, just the most extreme. Now for the first update. I want to thank everyone for the support on my last post. I didn't expect it to blow up like that. And yes, I still have the USB with the footage safely stored and backed up to multiple places. I'm not an idiot, well, not about that at least. So I left off where I finally got Bonnie alone after the burial reception to confront her. I made sure we were still visible through the windows because I didn't trust her not to twist things around if we were completely alone. I didn't even say anything at first, just pulled up the video on my phone and held it out to her. The look on her face, it was like watching someone's mask slip off. She went completely pale, then suddenly got this angry look. She tried to grab my phone, but I pulled it back. Then she said I was seeing things and trying to convince me what I saw on video wasn't real. I replayed it and pointed to the part where she clearly takes the ring and puts it in her purse. It's not ambiguous at all. Then she said it's not what it looks like. I just asked her directly to give me back the ring. I was trying to stay calm even though I was shaking inside. Then she claimed Mitchell told her to take it because the will isn't fair. I immediately knew that was a lie because Mitchell was with me the whole time after the viewing. He never left my side. That's when she finally snapped and said something like, "You people don't appreciate its value anyway. This isn't about money. This is about my grandmother's most treasured possession that she wanted me to have." She admitted taking it, but tried to justify it by saying Mitchell needed money for his business investment and that old people don't need expensive jewelry. Then she refused to give it back and told me to get over it and that no one will believe you anyway. I hate confrontation, but something in me just snapped. I told her I would show the footage to Mitchell and the entire family if she didn't return the ring right now. And this bitch laughed and said, "Mitchell will always take my side." Mitchell and Bonnie have been having problems lately. He told me a few months ago that they've been fighting about money ever since Bonnie lost her job. She refuses to tell him why she was fired, which suspicious much. When I got home that night, I couldn't sleep. I started looking more closely at the footage. I zoomed in on what Bonnie was doing with her phone while she was alone with Grandma's body. She wasn't just taking photos as a memorial. She was recording video focusing on Grandma's jewelry and personal items, like making an inventory. I felt sick. This was my grandmother, the woman who basically raised me when my parents were busy fighting, the woman who taught me how to bake her special apple pie and who let me try on that sapphire ring during our little tea parties. I was going through my phone trying to find Mitchell's number when I saw some screenshots I'd taken a couple weeks ago. Mitchell had used my phone to make a call because his was dead, and he opened his text messages. I saw weird texts between Bonnie and someone named Carlo and took screenshots. Looking at them now, they were discussing inventory from the viewing and potential values of items that matched Grandma's possessions. She was cataloging valuables to sell. The next morning, I went straight to Mitchell's house. I showed him everything, the security footage, the screenshots, everything. At first, he refused to believe it. He kept saying there must be some explanation. I had to play the video like 5 times until he finally couldn't deny what was right in front of him. He got really quiet, and his face went gray. Then he asked to see the text messages between Bonnie and this Carlo person. He told me their financial problems were way worse than anyone knew. Apparently, Bonnie had been pressuring him to ask family members for loans. He broke down crying right there in front of me. Said he'd suspected Bonnie had been taking things, but never had any proof. He said he didn't know who his wife was anymore. He begged me not to tell the family yet and promised he'd get the ring back. I agreed to give him 48 hours. Mitchell came back the next day looking terrible. Turns out, Bonnie had already pawned the ring that morning after the funeral. I was furious. Not only did she steal from my dead grandmother, she couldn't even wait a day before getting rid of it. But it gets worse. Mitchell found notes and photos on their shared cloud storage showing Bonnie had been cataloging valuable items from other elderly relatives' homes during family gatherings. This wasn't a one-time thing. This was a pattern. I decided the entire family needed to know. After Mitchell left, I created a detailed message for the family group chat that included the security footage of Bonnie taking the ring, screenshots of the texts with Carlo, evidence of Bonnie recording the inventory video at the viewing, Mitchell's confirmation that the ring had already been pawned. I stared at that message for hours. I'm not the type to blast someone publicly, but this went beyond just me and my ring. This was about protecting our whole family from someone who was stealing from us. At 1 a.m., I finally hit send. Then I turned off my phone, took a sleeping pill, and tried not to think about the explosion that would follow when everyone woke up and saw it. Edit. Some people are asking if I tried talking to Bonnie's parents first. No, I don't really know them that well. They've only been at a couple family gatherings and they live in another state. Also, she's 36, not 16. This isn't some teenage shoplifting phase. Edit 2. To those asking if I warned Mitchell before sending everything to the family chat, yes, I told him what I was planning to do. He just nodded and said, "They need to know." He looked completely broken. Edit 3. For everyone asking about legal action, I'm considering it. The funeral director said he'd be willing to provide an official copy of the footage if needed for a police report. I'm just trying to process everything right now. Now for the second update. So a lot has happened since my last post. Like a lot. And first, I just want to say thank you to everyone who commented with support. So after I sent everything to the family group chat at 1 a.m. and took that sleeping pill, I slept like absolute garbage anyway. Go figure. I woke up around 9 a.m. and remembered what I'd done and had that immediate, "Oh God, what have I done?" feeling in my stomach. When I finally turned my phone back on, I had 27 missed calls. Not exaggerating. 9 from Mitchell, 6 from my mom, 5 from Aunt Gloria, 3 from Uncle Wayne, 2 from my cousin Matt, and this shocked me, 2 from Bonnie herself, plus like a million text messages I couldn't even process. I basically spent the next 3 hours just listening to voicemails and calling people back. Mitchell's messages were a journey. The first one was him basically yelling at me for not giving him more time. Then the second one was him being shocked about the other relatives. And by the last one, he was actually thanking me for making him see the truth about Bonnie. That was unexpected. My mom and Aunt Gloria were completely on my side from the start. Like they weren't even surprised. Mom said she always thought something was off about Bonnie, though honestly she says that about everyone, so I don't know if that counts, lol. Aunt Gloria was just worried about me and wanted to make sure I was okay. Uncle Wayne was initially pissed about airing family business publicly, which is so typical of him. But even Wayne changed his tune real quick when he realized his mom's, my grandma's, entire jewelry collection could have been next on Bonnie's list. Suddenly, he was all concerned about justice and family honor or whatever. The really crazy part was what came out during all these conversations. Turns out multiple family members had noticed things missing after gatherings where Bonnie was present. Like, Aunt Gloria's silver letter opener disappeared after Thanksgiving last year. Matt's wife, Christine, couldn't find her vintage brooch after our Christmas party. And get this, Uncle Wayne's commemorative coin collection had mysteriously shrunk over the past couple years. And nobody said anything. Everyone just assumed they misplaced their stuff or felt uncomfortable accusing someone without proof. I mean, I get it. I probably would have done the same thing. Mitchell called a family meeting that evening at my mom's house. Bonnie refused to show up. Shocker. He looked absolutely destroyed, you guys. Like he aged 10 years overnight. He told us he found evidence that Bonnie had been systematically stealing and selling family items for at least 2 years. He found a whole hidden folder on their shared cloud with pictures of items, estimated values, and even notes about which family member they belonged to and when she could acquire them. I felt, I don't even know how to describe it, vindicated, but also just so sad for Mitchell. It's weird to want justice while watching your cousin's marriage implode right in front of you. So about the ring, Mitchell found out Bonnie had pawned it at this shop in Riverdale, the next town over, the morning after the funeral. Like, she couldn't even wait 24 hours. That detail still makes my blood boil. When Mitchell and I went to the pawn shop, the owner was actually pretty sympathetic after we explained the situation. He remembered Bonnie, apparently she'd been there before with other items, but said the ring was already gone. He'd sold it to this jewelry dealer who specializes in vintage pieces. He gave us the dealer's contact info, and Mitchell and I drove like 2 hours the next day to meet him. The dealer recognized the ring from our description before we even showed pictures. Turns out it was a pretty special piece, which we knew, and he'd already listed it online for twice what he paid for it. I tried explaining the whole situation to him. My grandma's history with the ring, how it was stolen, everything. I was literally in tears, which is embarrassing, but whatever. The guy was not cold exactly, but definitely all business. He told me he couldn't return it at his purchase price because he had a business to run. Then Mitchell shocked me by offering to pay the full asking price. This was way more than the ring was worth monetarily, but the dealer agreed on the condition we pay cash within 24 hours. When we got back to the car, I asked Mitchell how he was planning to get that kind of money so fast. He admitted he didn't have it, but said he'd find a way. I could tell he felt responsible for what Bonnie did. That's when I suggested maybe the whole family could help. This wasn't just my ring, it was part of our family heritage. You guys. The way everyone came together was actually kind of beautiful. 16 different family members contributed what they could. My teenage cousin Emily gave $50 from her babysitting money. Uncle Wayne wrote a check for several thousand. My mom emptied her emergency fund. Even some distant relatives I barely talked to pitched in. And yes, to the people who will inevitably comment that we're stupid for paying so much, I know. But some things are worth more than money. This ring survived World War II and my great-grandmother fleeing Europe. It's literally the one piece of our family history that made it through everything. The weirdest part of all this is that it's actually brought our family closer. Like relatives who haven't spoken in years were suddenly texting each other and coordinating. It's weird how sometimes it takes something terrible to fix other broken things. As for Bonnie, God. As the investigation into all the missing items deepened, Mitchell discovered she had opened credit cards in his name and taken out loans without him knowing. Their financial problems were way worse than he realized. He filed for divorce last week. Bonnie's parents actually called me directly to apologize. This was super awkward since I've only met them like twice at family things. Her dad broke down crying and admitted this wasn't the first time this had happened. Apparently, Bonnie has had issues with taking things since she was a kid, and they've enabled her by paying off people and covering it up. Her dad literally admitted to paying off previous victims to avoid charges being filed. I was speechless. I'm still really conflicted about pressing criminal charges. Like, I want justice, but I don't want to completely destroy someone's life. Mitchell asked us to hold off while he sorts through everything. He's temporarily moved in with his parents and started attending these support groups for partners of people with addiction issues. The family's current agreement with Bonnie is that she has to enter therapy and financial counseling, and if there are any future incidents, we'll immediately file charges. Then 3 weeks after everything blew up, Bonnie showed up unannounced at my apartment. I almost didn't answer the door, but when I saw who it was through the peephole, I don't know, morbid curiosity, I guess. I let her in, but left the door partially open, not taking any chances. She looked awful, like she'd lost at least 15 pounds and wasn't sleeping. Her hair wasn't done, no makeup, clothes wrinkled. She kept switching between sobbing apologies and then suddenly trying to justify what she did. It was wild to watch. She told me she's been diagnosed with kleptomania and gambling addiction. Apparently, she'd been stealing things, selling them, and using the money to gamble online. She begged me to talk to Mitchell, to convince him to take her back. I told her that's not my place to decide. Mitchell needs to make his own choices about their relationship. Then she asked if she could see the ring one last time, and alarm bells went off in my head immediately. Like, seriously, after everything. I told her it was time for her to leave, and that she should get the help she's been offered. She completely broke down in the hallway outside my apartment. I felt bad shutting the door on her, but also boundaries. I keep the ring in a safe deposit box now. I only wear it for special occasions. Last week, we had a small family gathering for what would have been Grandma Lois's 88th birthday. I wore the ring, and we all shared our favorite memories of her. I made her apple pie recipe, It turned out pretty good, actually. Sometimes I wonder if sending everything to the group chat was too harsh or public. But honestly, it needed to happen. The transparency protected not just my ring, but probably countless other family valuables and history. Some relatives still think I overreacted, mostly the ones who weren't close to Grandma, while others basically treat me like some kind of family hero, which is weird and uncomfortable. Family gatherings are still awkward. Mitchell rarely comes, and there are definitely people who've taken sides. But I have the ring, and that's what matters most to me. I've started recording all of Grandma's stories and recipes in this family history book I'm putting together. I wish I'd done it while she was still alive. That's probably my biggest regret in all of this, that I didn't make time to preserve her stories when I had the chance. Edit, to those asking if we're pressing charges, still undecided. The family is split on this. Some think we should make an example of her. Others, like Mitchell's parents, think it would just make everything more painful. Edit 2. Someone asked about the Carlo person from the texts. Turns out he's a guy who runs an online auction site specializing in estate jewelry. Mitchell is working with police to see if any other stolen items ended up there. Yes, I changed some minor details because I'm still paranoid about family finding this. The towns aren't really called Riverdale, etc. Several people have asked if Bonnie was fired from her job for stealing. According to Mitchell, yes. Her company had inventory going missing and eventually caught her on camera. They gave her the option to resign instead of pressing charges, another missed opportunity for her to get help earlier. Thanks for all the kind words about my grandmother. She really was an amazing woman. To the person who asked for the apple pie recipe, maybe someday. But for now, I'm keeping that just for family. It's one of the few things I have left of her.